Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. I'm joined this evening by YouTube West Ham YouTube royalty Geo. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Always helps have to win, and thank you for having us. Pleasure.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, we needed the win, didn't we? We definitely needed the bloody win. But yeah, we'll get into the game in a minute. First of all, if you're new to the channel, and obviously if you like what you see after you've watched this video, please drop a like. And also, I'm sure anyone watching this show will be familiar with Hammers Chat, but if you're not, head over to Hammers Chat as well. Geo, you've just relived this game once just before this show, haven't you?
Yeah, I have done. It's different now. So I'm in the hot seat rather than just saying what I want to say. So
You
it's a
can
bit of
say
a
what you
different
want, mate.
concept.
You can say what you
Oh
want.
yeah, but I on my own show I can choose what I say, whereas
Of
this
course,
one
of course.
it's more answering your questions. So it's a bit of a twist.
Well, I'm sort of treading on eggshells at the moment because obviously I've been getting a little bit of criticism lately on my own shows from certain people because I've been about as negative as a football, to be quite honest. It's kind of reflected my mood. And I did call a win today. I did. I didn't think that Bournemouth were going to trouble us. I don't think they did. I know it got unnecessarily twitchy towards the end of that game, but I don't know. I never really felt like they was going to bother us. Did you? In that game?
Um, yeah, but no. I mean, did Fabianski have any big saves to make? Not really. So in that regards, you have to say that it was quite comfortable. But I do feel we made it a bit more difficult than we needed it to be. I think we put a lot of pressure on our defence, a lot more than was required, and I think to some extent, we're just fortunate that Bournemouth are not that great. They looked
No.
a little bit lost for ideas to some extent, and also we had a bit of a blessing in disguise. Or it wasn't in disguise, actually. We had a blessing full stop.
Yep.
When Solanke went off injured, that was a big bonus for us because then,
That was massive, wasn't it? I think.
yeah, it was huge because he was causing a little bit of bother, and he's a decent player, whereas Kiefer Moore isn't. He's got he was a big lad up front, and we saw him sort of bully Kerr a little bit, but they
Yeah.
didn't really take advantage of that, actually. I
I
was
know.
surprised that they didn't go a bit more long ball, because anytime they did, we were struggling with it. So, in some ways, it was quite comfortable, but in other ways, it was unnecessarily nervous.
It was uncomfortable to watch, I thought. And look, I don't want to be too negative on this because the most important thing, let's get it straight. I mean, we was 17th coming into this. The most important thing was a win. Of course it was. You know, we're now in 10th. We're, you know, looking at the table now. It's looking a whole lot healthier, although it can be clouded because there's still no points in it, you know. I don't know. I just thought at home against Bournemouth, who have not been great, to be quite honest. I just thought that was a good opportunity, not just to grab a win, because I kind of felt I weren't underestimating Bournemouth. I just don't really rate them. I thought it was a good opportunity for us to go out and exploit them and give the fans more than just a win, but give them a performance as well. Because I don't think we haven't had a good performance for quite some time, have we? In the league, we haven't. I don't think we haven't seen it for a while. So yeah, look, points on the board. We'll talk about the goals. But yeah, I'm not going to make you relive every minute of it again, Gio. But just to sort of cherry pick the, I suppose, the hot spots from the game, of which I don't suppose there was that many, was there? I mean, they had a few chances. They had a chance in the first half where there was some sloppy passing from, one from Kera, where Kera put Tavernier through. It was a great pass through to the wing, and then Souček a sloppy pass as well, wasn't it? Where Solanke got through. I don't think they really had too much more than that. We created chances. Do you know what baffles me? Because at the moment, all I keep getting thrown at me at the minute, and I know you're a man for stats, so I keep on getting sort of XG, chances created, and the graphic on the screen kept on flashing up. You know, West Ham 18 chances, but they're not clear cut, are they?
No, there's a big difference between a chance and a chance, isn't there? If you go on the Premier League's official website, if you go on PremierLeague.com, they've got a stat which sort of cuts through all the mud, if you like, and it's called big chances created.
Right, okay.
And they just get rid of almost all this XG and all this like half chance. They get rid of it all and they just cut it down to big chances created. It's difficult because, you know, stats do suggest we are performing better than our results would suggest. But as much as I do love stats, I'll always be adamant that nothing beats the eye test. That's the number one thing in football, and you can't measure that.
No. Do you think that our because look, I was incredibly pleased. I think the one change that I really wanted against Liverpool, I was happy with the middle three against Liverpool. I thought the shape looked okay, but with Fornals out on that left up front, I think it sort of tipped it too defensively for us. I think if we'd have had Ben Rama in that game, it might have been a bit different. So I was pleased to see Benny in this game, but I don't know. I still think having three central defensive midfielders, even though I'll be honest with you, what was Downs doing? Where was he playing?
What did it look like to you? Because I know what it looked like to me.
It looked like he was almost in the 10, or he was.
Yeah.
What is
That's
that
what I
all
saw.
about? Which is bizarre, isn't it? And is it to press from the front? Do you think he was there to kind of pressure them?
I've got two conclusions. That's one of them, which is the pressing from the front and to help Scamacca out. And I guess who better to go hassle a centre back on the ball than a defensive midfielder, somebody that is good at putting the tackles in. And in the first half, I thought he was quite good at it. I thought he was actually quite effective, and at Liverpool in the second half as well. But the problem was at Anfield, he did win the ball back outside the box, but he didn't know what to do with it. He just panicked a bit, and the pass to Scamacca was wrong and stuff. And it was one of them. It's like he's done the hard bit, but the easy bit he couldn't do. But my other conclusion, my other theory as to why Moyes has done that is because he don't want to drop Souček, or he doesn't trust Flynn Downs to protect his back four in the Premier League yet. He trusts Souček and Rice, but he's not comfortable with Downs in there. But he feels Downs should play, so I'll just put him in that position. Or he doesn't want to drop Souček, and it's like, well, I need to play Downs, but I ain't dropping Souček, I'm not dropping Rice, so I'm just going to put Downs in ahead of them. I'm not sure. I think this is the worst game we could have done that, Moyes, actually, because at home to a promoted side, forget Bournemouth, Fulham, Forest, forget the club they are, home to a promoted side. I think when you put a defensive midfielder in that almost privileged attacking midfield role, it's sends the wrong message, I think. Had he actually played Downs behind Rice and Souček and encouraged both of them to get up the pitch, it would be a completely different story. It's, same personnel, completely different attitude. So it's a bit of a strange one playing Downs there, because did he have a good game tonight? I thought he did all right.
Yeah.
But I almost feel
it's not his game. It's not his game, though, is it?
Well, it's as good as you're going to get from Downs in that position, isn't it? Because he's not going to score. He's not going to do any assists or anything. So it's going to be very hard for him to do the job of a number 10 when he's not really that player. No,
I know. It was very odd. I just think I think sometimes, even though we weren't a flat three today, to have those three in the middle, even though we had more up front today, you've got to have forward thinking players in the middle of the park as well. You've got to have a couple, and to have three defensive minded players there, like you said, I think it's not a missed opportunity. We got the win, but I just think we could have come out of that feeling a lot better. I don't. Again, after the Everton game, you know my reaction after the Everton game. I didn't really change. I've not changed my mind even through the recent run of good form, because what I've been looking for is to see a change in ethos and to see a change in mentality in the way that we're playing, to see a different type of performance. We've got good players. I think you could almost play our players in any type of shape or formation, and they're probably going to have a good chance of beating Bournemouth. To be honest, if you put, do you know what I'm trying to say? I think man for man, we're better than them. I don't know. I just think it was a missed opportunity. I don't think we're going to have it as easy in the next games that are coming up. Well, I discount Man United because I just don't really even want to think about that one. But the Palace and the Leicester games, I know Palace haven't won away yet, have they?
No,
Palace haven't. But Leicester are picking up form. Yeah, I am. We're still not. Well, you're never going to be out of the woods, because I think everyone outside that top six, you've seen tonight. One win, we've jumped 7 places. So it's crazy, isn't it? After 11 games,
it's a bit wild. It's a unique season.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, the goal, Geo. What were your thoughts on the goal? Because I'm quite familiar with the rules of volleyball. I watched beach volleyball in the Olympics, and that looked like a bit of a set to me from Kera. What did you think?
I mean, did it hit him in the arm? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
handball, but by the rule book, it's not a handball, unfortunately, for
I know.
Bournemouth. They'll feel a bit hard done by, and if that happened against us, I'd be fuming. Not because I think that they've applied the rules incorrectly, they haven't, but I just because I disagree with the rules that goal can legitimately stand. It's a bit like us. Antonio's goal against Fulham's an absolute joke. The fact that because of the rules, that goal actually stood, despite it clearly hitting his hand.
I know.
The handball rules are a little bit wild at the minute, and I think that's an example of it. So, in terms of the rules, though, it's a goal that stands.
It's a goal.
Do you want to know something mental, Nick?
Go on.
Our Ben Rama's goal tonight. So Ben Rama and Zuma's goal tonight. Our
Yeah.
last 4 goals at home have all included a handball.
I know. VAR loves us this year.
And
It does.
Antonio.
I know that obviously with VAR, like you've just said, as per the rules, I think every single one of the goals that have been contentious have been proved to be just.
Yeah.
I think they've all been proved to be just. But last season, that probably wouldn't have been the case, would it? Because the rules have changed.
Last season, if it hit the hand, regardless of who put it in, etc., it was just ruled out. And now they've changed it so that has he directly scored the goal? No, he hasn't. So it's sort of play on a little bit.
If that had been given against us, if that was down the other end, I probably would have fucking smashed my TV up. I've got to be honest.
Yeah,
I would have been livid. I would have been livid.
Yeah.
But you got to take it. You got to take it. I mean, I think we were deserving of the lead at that point. I think we were in the ascendancy. I think there is that to be said. We were like I said. I didn't really think that Bournemouth really troubled us. To be honest, they had a few chances. But going into the second half, I think I was encouraged. We came out for the first few minutes. I thought we was on the front foot. We looked really, really positive. I thought, bloody hell, we're going to go after the second here. Didn't last long, did it?
No, I mean, we did go after it for about 10, 15 minutes maybe, and then we decided, right, that's enough. We're not going to hang on for half an hour, which was a bit disappointing, actually. I was pleasantly surprised when we came out with sort of guns blazing, and I feel we had Bournemouth on the ropes. I felt like, I don't know about you, but I felt like a second goal was coming. The game was quite open, and they were getting a couple of counter-attacks, but they weren't doing anything with them. But that opened up the pitch for us. Whenever they would counter-attack, we'd get the ball back. Then it gave us room when we went at them, whereas in the first half, when we were attacking, they were sitting back in numbers and space was...
It was compact, wasn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't much room in the first half. So the second half, now we're winning 1-0. That end-to-end game actually should be suiting a team like us. This is where a better team, and I'm talking the creme de la creme here of Man City and Liverpool, they want teams to attack them. Say, come on, then have a go, because our defence is going to stop you, and then bang, we're at you because we've got good players up there. We've got good players up there. You almost want to coax Bournemouth out a little bit, so then you can spring the ball to Ben Rama, Bowen, or Scamacca and say, there you go on, lads, 3v4, not in your favour, but you're good enough, do something with it. They spent the first half sort of camped in and around Bournemouth's box with getting, I wouldn't even call it half chances. No. It was just bits and pieces. It was very scrappy in the first half. And I agree with you, we deserved our goal. I thought we were a better team in the first half.
Yeah.
I thought we were relatively in control. And that continued for 10, 15 minutes. And then we just seemed to... It was almost like Moyes had shouted something, because the whole team just seemed to go back 15 yards and just play on our own 18-yarder. And it got a little bit... While it was comfortable, Nick, it was just a bit ugly, and I didn't really like it.
Did it coincide with the substitution? Because I think it did. Because I don't know, with Scamacca, obviously Scamacca isn't the type of player that you can use to play on a counter attack with, because he doesn't possess that pace. So maybe once Antonio does come into the fold, is it an instruction from Moyes? I probably kind of think it is. It probably is by design. But it did almost feel like Antonio came on and the team went that way, and all of a sudden you had that massive kind of void in between. So, and it did get unnecessarily twitchy again. I didn't really. It would have been a miracle if they'd have scored, because I didn't really feel much of a threat from them. But we were, I don't know, just kind of inviting them on. And again, it's not necessary. I don't know why we can't ever be comfortable. I don't.
Maybe trust. Maybe David Moyes doesn't trust the players to go get that second goal, and they needed to get 3 points tonight, Moyes, because could you imagine us, everybody tomorrow waking up, we're fourth from bottom, we've just failed to beat Bournemouth at home, we've got Man U next. It would have been a miserable place. He had to get the 3 points, so maybe there's an element of panic, I guess, which is just get the job done kind of thing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they did. Moyes would be happy with that. He asked his team to defend for half an hour, and they did it well. In fact, like I said, Fabianski, I can only recall him making one save, and that was from a weak Anthony header, and he had to come gather that high ball that Lerma crashed into him. But apart from that, I don't really remember Fabianski doing anything in the second half. So as far as defensive displays go, it was pretty faultless.
It was. It was. I mean, I don't think they were put under that much pressure, but it was pretty faultless. And then sort of skipping ahead to, because we're going to do the player ratings as well, which we'll skip through. Skipping ahead to the second goal, sort of rubbing salt in Bournemouth's wounds even more. Again, I suppose by the book, it's a handball, isn't it? But if you slide in for a challenge like that, can you slide in and not put your arms up?
I don't know. I've seen these given. I've seen these not given every single game. Never mind every single week. That incident will happen next weekend. It won't get given.
I know.
It might not be in our game, but there will be an incident in Premier League where something like that happens. There's a handball shout, and they won't give it. I had the Fulham Villa game ringing in my ears from Tuesday night when Fulham got a penalty in a very similar circumstance, and the Fulham player smashed at Matty Cash's hand, and he was about 2 yards away, and he was doing what Zamora was doing.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. That is a natural position for his arm. What's he can't slide. It's not a thing. You can't slide like that. When you slide, your arm does go up in the air naturally. It's one of them. If I was a Bournemouth fan, I'd feel really pissed off. As a West Ham fan, I'll take it. I'm desperate, Nick. I'll take it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. We are desperate, but it wasn't. I think for me, just to sort of sum it up before we move on to the player ratings, I think it's job done. Again, but I was expecting more than that, and maybe that makes me greedy. Maybe that makes me entitled. I don't know, but yeah, I was expecting a little bit more than that. I mean, do you feel satisfied after that game?
I feel relieved.
Yeah.
I feel relieved. I think there was a pressure on us and Moyes coming into this game. And I don't think it's done anything in regards to that. I think it's just delayed the jury, if you like. I think people are still trying to work out what we're doing, what the game plan is, what's the game plan moving forward. We're not really sure yet. I think tonight was a chance to showcase that perhaps a little bit, just be a bit more attacking, and I guess we were in comparison to the Liverpool game. But I don't know. There's an element of me. I think curious might be being polite. I think I'm a little bit worried actually that it's a bit. Put it this way, I don't think we're going to get anything at Old Trafford on Sunday after watching that.
No, but again, it's I feel the same. I don't. Like I said, after the Everton game, we went on a little run of results. We got a few wins, but after each of those games, I didn't. I felt like I do now, and it is kind of.
I feel bad. I feel bad, Nick.
I know.
I'm happy we've won, but 2 years ago, a year ago, before Christmas, so. To the end of 2021, we were winning games quite comfortably.
Yeah.
I was buzzing after games. I couldn't wait for the next game. I was like, bring on Sunday. Going to Old Trafford, bring it on. I don't care. Let's go. I don't have that vibe at the minute. I've almost got this worry that it's because my video tomorrow will be the fact that this Premier League is a 13-team relegation battle.
Yeah.
Top 6 in Newcastle, away you go. The rest of you're fighting it out.
Absolutely. 3
of you are going down, and we're in that. We're in that, and eventually it'll become 10 teams and 8 teams and so on and so forth. We've got to make sure we're the next ones after Newcastle to get out of that and just look really comfortable. And at the minute, I don't think we're heading in that direction. It was ugly tonight. It was ugly, and I think it was. I don't mind winning ugly. In fact, I quite like it sometimes. It takes a bit of character to do that, and that comes down to David Moyes.
It does. Yeah.
That comes down to what Moyes is installed. But at home to promote a team, I don't know.
They did have a striker on the pitch in Moore, but he wasn't much of a threat, was he? You couldn't get much more immobile than him, could you? I know he's a threat in the air, but bloody hell. I do think, like you said, they should have maybe got someone up close to him, which they didn't seem to do. But But yeah, no, it's done. You know, we're in 10th. We go against Man United. I mean, if you could kind of make a prediction now on our points haul between now and the World Cup break, what would your prediction be realistically, based on what you've seen from
So
us and the
Man
other
U,
teams?
Palace, and Leicester. Those
Yeah,
3 games.
yeah,
What I would be happy with, we've got to be aiming for 6. We've got 2 home
yeah,
games in there. We've got to be aiming for 6. But what I think we'll get, it's 2, 3, or 4, isn't it?
yeah.
It's one of those. I'll say three.
I think
I'll
we'll
say
win one of
3.
them. I think we'll
Yeah.
win one of those 2 games. I really
Yeah.
don't think we'll get anything against Man
Would you
United.
be okay with 4?
Yeah, well, yeah, we'd have to be. I think we need more than that, but that would be, yeah, that would be fine. Look, we had to get a win tonight. We did.
Yeah.
It was a winnable game. We won it. And you have got to win those games, haven't you? Especially in the teams around you. But Man United, like Liverpool, I just wish he would look at this game coming up and think, right, because it's a free hit again. None of us are expecting anything out of Man United. I know they're not the Man United they were years ago, but just I'm not saying. And when I say go for it, people automatically say this ain't FIFA. We're not Man City. Don't go gung ho. I'm not saying that. What I mean is play positively. Go
I
after them.
I call it attacking responsibly.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I mean. But
That's what I've phrased it as now.
yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. Go out with the intent to win as opposed to not lose.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see against Man United, because that is a type of win. If you get that, then maybe you might start changing a few people's minds. That is a type of win that will pick the mood up a little bit, I think. But anyway, mate, let's move on to the player ratings. This is where the chat get involved. Okay, so behave yourselves in the chat. You're live broadcasting. So Fabianski didn't have much to do tonight. Geo, what sort of score would you give Geo tonight? What did you think of his performance?
Give him a 6. Did all right.
Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong, did he?
No. Yeah, he was fine. But largely untested. So a 6 for me.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll agree with that. And we'll start with Johnson. Now, let us know in the chat as well what your ratings are for Johnson. I was kind of. I think his touch lets him down at times, but I think it was a better performance today. There were times, I don't know whether we don't look for him in wide positions, or I don't know whether it was Cresswell in particular, where Johnson's bombing down the right and he's in acres of space, but we never seem to really switch play, do we? Kind of, it always has to be I don't know, like 3 or 4 passes to get to the other side of the pitch. So there was quite a few chances where he was bombing down the outside. We weren't finding him. I didn't really think he did much wrong today. What were your thoughts on Johnson?
Same as against Liverpool, really. Defensively, I think he's pretty solid, Nick. I'm okay with him from a defensive standpoint. I think Anthony came on and started to ask a little bit of questions from him, which he was largely untested in the first half. Tavernier was pretty poor.
Yeah.
But in possession, it's non-existent. The first half, I thought the highlight for me in the first half was the link-up play between Cresswell, Rice and Benrahma. I thought they were really positive down that side, but I felt there was nothing down our right side. There was absolutely nothing. And, there was 1 or 2 times where you had to cross the ball, and a couple of them were okay, but there was one in particular that was under hit, and it was when we were attacking after a set piece. So we had our players up. They were running into the 18-yard, and he hit it too short, and Bournemouth they blocked on edge 18-yard, and things like that can really spring a counter-attack if you're not careful. So I'll give him a 5, which to me is like bang average. Not bad, not good.
Yeah.
You were you were okay, nothing more. And that's because, his defensive performance good, offensive performance poor. So I'm just going to go down the middle and say he was okay.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I think that's around about right for him. I mean, what happened to that player? Because when Johnson first came in, do you remember that run of games that he had when he came in to replace Soufal, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he had that run of games where he was brilliant against Liverpool, against Nottingham Forest, and then there was just ridiculous. There was this ridiculous stat where he was kind of like 98% in one-on-ones and stuff like that. He was really good for a period, wasn't he?
Yeah, but like, he's still defensively, he's still solid. It's just offensively, he's just, I don't know. I feel like he hesitates.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he does. He does. Do you think that could have anything to do with the constant shifting of positions, though? Just in his defence, do you think in your mind, if you're a defender, because
Possible.
it's a very different position, isn't it? There was Gary Neville and Carragher. There was a video floating around on Twitter where they were talking about us going from a 4 to a 3 and expecting the wing back to go from a fullback to a wing back, and Neville said that moving 10 yards up the pitch, he said I was asked to do it 2 or 3 times. He said it was terrifying. You know, he said honestly, it's like being in a different world all of a sudden. He wasn't happy with it at all. So I do think yeah, he has been shifted about a bit. I mean, a lot of his bad performances have been at centre back, but I don't really blame him for that. But yeah,
No.
I don't know. I do think he lacks what the modern fullback needs going forward. If I'm being honest, and it does pain
Yeah.
me to say that because I like him, but you know, I think maybe long term. No, he's a good squad player, isn't he? I think.
Well, that's the problem. He's got no position.
No,
He's
no,
backup right back, backup left back, fills in at 3 at the back.
yeah.
It's one of them. It's difficult. I hate players that end up like that because I feel sorry for them. How's he meant to cement a long term position when he's seen as this utility player? But that's what he's seen as at the minute.
I know. Right, just so you know, Geo, anyone that does get rated 4 or lower, it's an automatic donkey on the head. That's how we do it on this show. It's not personal. It's just the way we do it. So Cresswell, what did you think of Cresswell today?
You go first because do you know when like you'll know what I'm going to talk about here, where you feel like you're being honest about a certain player, but the comment section implies that you're very biased about a certain player.
Yeah,
Creswell for me. Like, I'm aware I'm a big Creswell fan,
yeah.
but I'm being honest, and I just can't help it. So you can go first for me.
Yeah, no, Cresswell today, I thought he was okay, and he gets a lot of stick. He does. I don't think he can help his lack of pace, which is what he gets criticised for. And I do think he played relatively well today. I think his deliveries could have been a bit better at times. He did put a couple of good crosses in. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think just in general our supply into the middle is sometimes just average, and that is a problem. I know. Like I say, and that's what kept baffling me because I'm watching this game. It was very unentertaining, and I'm seeing West Ham 17 chances created. I'm thinking, fuck, where were these chances? But yeah, that's what I mean. It was all very vague. But for me, I would probably score Cresswell. We don't do decimals. We don't do decimals on this show.
Neither do I. Don't worry, I hate it because
yeah,
then you would just do it out of 20, then, wouldn't you?
Exactly. We don't do that. So I'm not too sure. It's either going to be a 6 or a 7 for me. But what would you score him? What were your thoughts on? Go on.
7.
Go on. Go on.
Because I'm a Creswell fan, but do you know? I thought nearly all of our positive attacking play he was involved in the first half. I thought he was really good, and I almost felt tonight. I felt that in the first half, especially, I felt there was a handful of players that were almost insisting on being a little bit more aggressive with when we're in possession, getting the ball forward, whether it's travelling with it or just moving it forward. And I felt Creswell was one of those players. And on that left-hand side, I thought of ours was really good. The right-hand side I thought was not very good at all. And I felt like we were going to score from open play. It was going to come from
that
the left-hand side. Yeah. Some of his, the only reason he's not getting higher, because I thought some of his crosses are a little bit, not hitting hope, but they should be better. Creswell's capable of whipping in a really good cross.
He is.
Whereas I don't have that faith necessarily with Ben Johnson. I've got it with Creswell. And I often think if you give him 5 opportunities to do the thing when he rolls it with the sole of his foot and crosses it, 2 will be on the money. Tonight, I think he got quite a few opportunities, and none of them were really sort of like sizzling. So,
no,
good performance. Defensively, really solid. Going forward, good, but could have been better.
Yeah, I think he's a sharp passer. I think, look, Cresswell remains one of our best technical players, funny enough, even though he's a left back. Yeah. But I do think. Do you think he's had some sort of recovery this year from the kind of disaster that he had towards the end of last season? Do you think he's kind of redeemed himself a little bit this season, even though we haven't been better?
I've always felt Creswell's quite mentally strong.
Yeah,
About a lot of things. He's often gone through sort of bumpy times at West Ham, and he's come back from a horrific injury as well. And I've always been quite impressed by his sort of mentality
yeah,
when he's been here for a lot of good reasons. So yeah, I would say he has recovered. I think he's in good form at the minute, Creswell.
yeah. No, I think so. I think so. No, I think a seven's fair. I think a seven's fair for him. Okay, let's get rid of that. And up next, this man, Tilo Kehrer. What were your thoughts on Kehrer?
Um,
He's a funny one for me. I
yeah, I
like
mean,
him. He's a fun centre back, but he scares me.
he's a risky centre back,
yeah, yeah,
but in possession, I think we need him.
yeah. We do.
Sometimes he does just dribble 5 yards and then it just pulls a midfielder over to him, creates a little bit of space for Declan Rice and behind that midfielder, or his pass will be there. I mean, there was a long ball he tried in the first half. It was overhit. It bounced through to the keeper. But at least he tried it. Next time he gets the ball, that centre back's going to be thinking, I better be on my toes here because he can hit it 60 yards, he can.
Yeah.
But defensively, quite shaky. However, while he did supply Tavernier with that opportunity, he also covered the arse of Thomas Soucek's sloppy pass. He got back and put pressure on Solanke.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes...
And injured Solanke in the process as well, which kind of helps.
Yeah, there is that as well.
Yeah.
Good defending doesn't necessarily mean you have to touch the ball. I think sometimes it's about your body positioning in that, and I think he was good then. So I'll give him I'll give him a 5, Nick. I think he made me uncomfortable, but he didn't necessarily do anything wrong in the process.
He's rash, isn't he? He's quite rash.
I remember I'd never seen him play for PSG. I don't watch French football, but I do like Bundesliga. It's the only other league I watch other than English football and a little bit of Scottish football and Australian football. But Bundesliga is a liga I don't mind.
Yeah.
And I remember him at Schalke, and he was very rash at Schalke. He would just come running 10. Yeah, he would run 10 yards out of centre back. Was he a centre back or was he the right of a three? Oh, he was. Yeah. Yeah, and he would come running out of the defence and just clatter into players and pick up yellow cards and whatever and stuff. And he was just one of them. But he was really young when he was at Schalke. I think he was only 19 or something. But I always felt that it was an age thing, but I don't think it is. I think it's just a Tilo Kehrer thing.
Yeah, yeah. He had a nightmare against Fulham, which kind of, because I kind of had, I convinced myself that he was going to be our right back. I still think he could. Do you think that could potentially be what's in store for him when the likes of Aguerd or Dawson become available? Or do you think you do, even with that kind of chaos that he brings with some of his decisions, do you think, like you just said, if you want to play a passing game, you need a player like that in your back line?
It depends on the opposition, I think, and this is where I would like to see Moyes change it up a little bit, because I think arguably right now our right back options, he's probably our best player in possession. He's probably the most likely to do that.
He's a talented player.
Yeah, on the ball, he's a lovely footballer.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was at the Wolves game, when we came back after international break, and he played right back, and he just would not get back. Like, not everybody agreed with me.
No.
I felt like he was just switching off. He was quite lazy.
Yeah.
And then the next game we played, whoever that was against, help me here, Fulham. Must have been Fulham. Fulham. And he was just out of position all the time. He just wasn't really getting back. But there's promises there. There's potential there. I think it's something we can work with. Long term, maybe right back. But I do think you're going to have to accept a few errors from him. You're going to have to allow that to happen.
But I suppose on the flip side of it, when you got a player that can play the ball out from the back, you might concede chances, but you may create chances as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So I suppose it's weighing that up, isn't it? Right. What about our man Kurt Zouma? What did you think about him today?
A bit better than Tilo Kehrer, I thought. Untested, perhaps.
Yeah, he was.
Got the goal. But he's possibly one of few players that didn't make a mistake today. There was too many errors in our team today. Too many. I thought Zouma was faultless, actually, while largely untested. So I think I'd give him a 6, to be honest with you, because I don't think he was that busy to justify a high mark.
No. He did nothing. He did nothing wrong. There was a couple of good kind of defensive, sort of last-ditch headers that were very good and very controlled. His positioning was really good as well. Yeah. It always seemed to be in the right place. But again, I don't think the defence were overly tested that much. It was a clean game, wasn't it, from him?
Yeah, you can bump it up if you want. I don't mind. I see
No,
the
no,
live
no.
chat are saying 7 and 8, so I'm happy to go with them and give them a 7 or an 8. I don't mind.
That's fine. That's fine. No, 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 no. It's look. It's not a bad score. I think that's just an average. It's an average score, and he wasn't. He wasn't. We're getting battered in the chat. Look, we're getting battered. This always happens.
I
But
just didn't feel like
I don't bow to peer pressure, people. Right, stand as a 6.
I just
Yeah,
didn't feel he was busy enough defensively. Really,
yeah.
didn't think he had that much to do.
No, 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 no. He didn't have a bad game. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's kind of just. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Right, moving on. Anyway, to our latest square peg in a round hole. Downs. I don't really know how to score him. I don't think he did anything particularly wrong. I think he was very busy. Although I was occasionally looking for him on the pitch, thinking, "Where the fuck is he?" And then the ball would move up the other end of the pitch, and you think, "Oh, he's up there. He's in the 10," because you had Rice and Souček sort of planted together in central defensive midfield, and he just seemed to be floating about. And he was pressing. There was a couple of really good challenges. He was busy, but I don't know. I just think he was kind of he was yeah, I don't know. He's not an attacking player, so he didn't really provide us much in that area. But he was pushing. He was pressing. But yeah, I don't know. I think again on Downs, not because he was terrible, just because I don't think he was much use in that position. I'll probably I don't know. I probably would be inclined to maybe give him a 5 or is that too harsh, or a 6, an average game? What would you say for Downs?
Um, I don't know actually. It's probably the most difficult player to score because if
Yeah,
you're looking at him as a number 10, you'd probably be edging towards a 4 or a 5. You'd be saying, well,
I
where's
know.
you're in there to create, but that's not his job. That's not bound to Flynn down. So you can't give him that really. Context is important. His
Yeah,
first ever Premier League start at the London Stadium,
yeah,
well out, not even just out of position, where like Tilo Kehrer moving to right back, there's a lot of elements from your game you can take over to that position. Whereas Flynn Downs, when you're taking him as a defenseman, and he was a defensive midfielder at Swansea. I've seen him quite a bit at Swansea,
yeah.
and the only thing lacking from his game was creativity. Final third passes, he just didn't do them. It wasn't his
No,
gig. So we've moved him into a position, and it's sort of like, what skills and attributes is he meant to bring from a defensive
I
midfielder
know.
into that area of the pitch? And the only conclusion is that his defensive side of the game. And that's where I guess it reflects more on the manager than Flynn Down. So I'll give him a 6 because
Yeah.
he was fine, Nick. He didn't do anything wrong. It's
No,
just
he did nothing wrong. I just I'm not criticising him. I just thought
no.
he wasn't used to his. Yeah, again, I think he would have been. I just want to see him next to Rice in the middle, and I know
Yeah.
we're probably going to struggle to see that. I don't think we're going to see that this side of Christmas, are we? Really?
No.
Not in the Premier League. You
No.
know. But yeah, no, I think that's fair. And he did play. He did his job fantastically well. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't hiding. But
Putting a
he
big
put
tackle, ended first
he
half
did
with him.
he did
Big tackle, and it's small things like that that the crowd needed
got
sometimes.
got
A
the
little
crowd up,
bit of
didn't it?
encouragement. Yeah, he just needs
Yeah,
something like that, and you could see him get up and he's happy with himself that he's been able to impact the game positively and stuff like that. And he was neat and tidy in possession as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a really high pass success rate. I don't feel like he
I think he
lost the
always
ball.
does. I don't think he gives the ball away. That's one thing he doesn't
Well,
do.
I think at Anfield it was like 60% or something. It was really low.
Was it bad? Was it that bad?
Yeah, but he didn't do many passes. So every pass was worth like 3%.
Was that the game where he was out on the right wing?
Well, he started on the right and then finished in number 10.
I know. Our latest utility player. He loves a
Yeah.
project, Moyes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Next one. This man. Oh, he's just class. Go on, Geo. Just purr over Declan Rice. Let me know what you thought of Rice today. I think I, I just love watching him play. I don't think it was I don't even think it was his best game, but his positional play is brilliant. I think some of his passing is he just oozes class. Honestly,
He does.
I do hate the saying Rolls Royce, but he actually is. He's a Rolls Royce of a player. It's just his anticipation. He's just always where he needs to be. Yeah, fantastic. But what were your thoughts on Declan today, anyway?
I thought he was really, really good. Not as good as Anfield. I thought Anfield he
No,
was
he
unbelievable.
was.
Tonight, I thought he was really strong. Makes the simple things look easy.
He does.
Makes some difficult things look easy effortlessly. Um, in the first half, a few nice passes to break the lines and just try and get us on the front foot a little bit. Good effort
Yeah.
with his volley, followed up by a crap free kick. But yeah, good performance.
That was a good volley as well, wasn't it? I know it
It
was
was,
central. I know it was central.
it was a really good volley. At the end of the day, when you hit it like that, you just got to try and get it on target and hope that it goes into a corner.
He's getting close.
But
He's getting closer because if some of the rumours coming out of the club is that Declan Rice is one of the best strikers of the ball at the club, but he suffers from a bit of the Antonio thing where every now and then he will strike the ball into Rose Ed, won't he? It's becoming a bit of a running joke, but he's getting better. He scored, isn't he? That was a great effort today. I would like to see him get him forward a bit more, surge him forward. Do you think he's got it in him to be that box to box player that offers the Steven Gerrard, if you like, the goal scoring midfielder? Do you think that's what's in Declan Rice's future, or do you think he should just stick to what he's good at?
I don't think he'll ever be on the level of Gerrard or anything like those sort of classic goal scoring centre midfielders. I don't think he'll ever reach them heights. You would have seen it by now. He's been around long enough now. I think we'd have had more evidence that he's capable of having 8 goals a season in the Premier League or something. I don't.
A lot
think
of that's to do with instincts, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it's also. I guess you could make the counter argument. Well, what happens with a different manager that encouraged him? Because when do you ever see him in the box? He just doesn't do it. He's never in the. He's never. Whether it's arriving later or attacking it, because that's Souček's gig, and we saw that tonight. So if Rice is going to start adding goals to each game, it's going to have to be from 20, 25 yards. It is going to have to be the long distance strikes. So I think it'll be. I'm going to say no. I don't think he'll be that kind of midfielder, but he excels in every other department. So I think lacking in one's fine enough. But I'll give him a 7, I think, for tonight. I'm tempted to go an 8 actually, but I'll give him a strong 7.
Yeah, it was definitely a high 7 for me. But look, he sets the bar high, Declan, doesn't he? You know, I know it shouldn't be like that. You should kind of mark a player, you know, based on their performance. But I don't know. I think Dec does sometimes get a bit of the rough end, because I think we do. We all have. He set the bar ridiculously high, hasn't he, over the past 2 years? But no, I thought that was a good performance today. He always looks class to me. Right, next man. I'm interested to hear what you're definitely taking him, because I'll get flack for talking about Souček. So let me know what you thought of Thomas today.
A 5. He would have got a lesser mark, but because of the way we played in the last half hour, it suits Thomas Souček's game. It plays to his strengths, which is can you sit in front of our back four and protect them, please? Now, I mean, you can't have a discussion 10 minutes ago and say that Zouma and Keller didn't have much to do and then not credit your centre midfielders with that. There's a correlation there. He was arguably our biggest goal threat from open play. You know, had that header in the second half. He nearly got on the end of Ben Rama's cross. But in possession, it's just
painful. It's painful. Can we possibly embark on changing our style into evolving into a new passing team with a player in the engine room that can't pass? Do you not think that is almost disruptive to what we're trying to achieve if we are in fact trying to move to that style, that style of, because I do think, look, he does. I mean, he made a few good blocks today. He's always busy, but I don't know. I just kind of, he never looks comfortable in possession, does he?
Well, I mean, you have to break down. I think I agree with what you're saying, by the way. No, I don't think you can have somebody like him in your midfield if you want to turn into a possession-based side. And that depends if that's what David Moyes wants to do. I've got a feeling it's not really what he wants to do. I don't think he's comfortable with it. I think he'll never drop Souček, and you need evidence why. Just watch our last half hour again, where he's getting involved. He's putting the tackles in, the blocks in, and he's organised, and him and Rice have got a good understanding. There was a point in the second half when Zouma went running out of the defence, sort of chased the ball down a bit. Declan Rice sat back, and then Rice had to sort of come out, and he basically said to Souček, "You go in," and Souček covered Rice, who was covering Zuma. So now at this
Yeah.
point, Thomas Souček's in the back four, and that understanding is just too important to David Moyes. But I think him in possession, you've got to break it down. And I think him not being creative, that's okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'd like him to be fine. Downs isn't creative, Rice isn't creative. Whenever you've seen Rice doing through and stuff like that, but it's just when you look at that chance he provided Solanke, there's no excuse for that. There's nobody hassling him. There's nobody around him. It's just a simple pass.
I know.
And he gets it horrifically wrong. It generally does just come down to technique sometimes, and that's what's worrying. Because, like I said, Rice and Downs, technique's not an issue for them. That is not a problem. They're neat and tidy.
They turn the ball over, don't they? That's what they do. Yeah.
1-2, quick passing. You don't really get that with him. It just feels. I feel awkward watching him sometimes in possession. Yeah,
no, I do. I think that's fine. Okay. Moving on to this man who I've developed. Benny got a lot of flack off of me, particularly over the last few years. I got very, very frustrated with him. I have developed a bit of a soft spot for him this season. I have. I think his attitude's been so much better as well. Even when you consider if he ever had a reason to moan, it was probably being dropped at the start of this season, because I think he was one of our most effective attackers. So he was unfortunate to lose his place, in my opinion. But yeah, I really like him. And today, for me, I think he was really good today. Down that left, some of the interplay between him and Cresswell. And also, you've got Rice on that side as well, haven't you? So it's a real classy left-hand side of the pitch. As you said, that's where a lot of our attacking play was coming from. I do think he was good today. I think he ran the whole game. He tracked back as well. That's what I mean. Moyes can't even really accuse him now of being lazy. He's not lazy. He runs his arse off. So. What were your thoughts on Benny? Go on.
I thought he was brilliant, Nick. I think very early on he set the tone, which is, I'm going to have a go at you, Ryan Fredericks. I'm going to take it to you. I won't always beat you. I won't always do the right decision. Sometimes I'll do something when I shouldn't do it, vice versa. But the intent's there, the attitude's there, and after being starved of it in recent games, I'm almost like that desperate just to see something. I'm happy with that. But he provided tonight. He was getting in some good places. He was providing some decent little touches and neat passes, skinning a few Bournemouth players. And when Ben Rama dyes his hair blonde, you know you're in trouble. when blonde Ben Rama rocks up, you're in trouble. And we had blonde Ben Rama tonight. That was a player in the second half. He was confident. He was trying shots from distance. He was trying these crosses. He was feeling it tonight. Little back heels to give Cresswell, the 1 yard space behind the fullback to get the cross in and stuff. Lovely player. I thought he was brilliant tonight. And it was really good to see David Moyes leave him on for 90 minutes. We'll both criticise Moyes a lot, but credit to him, because I can almost guess what you were thinking. 85th minute, I was thinking Penals was coming on for Ben Rama here.
I was thinking, please don't take him off.
So was I. Yeah. He left him on. Yeah. He left him on, and then he goes and obviously takes the penalty and scores it. So credit to Moyes, because I think, to be fair, in the circumstances, I'd almost understood if he took Ben Rama off. Really,
the way the game was. Yeah.
So he's frustrating at times, but I thought he was really, really good. My man of the match, and an 8 for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to go with that. I've been a bit slow with the scores. Right, hang
on. You don't know where the digit is. You don't use it very often.
No, not on Benny. Not on Benny. No, I do. This season, he's shown me. He's almost. I don't know. He's turned into the player that I thought we'd sign from Brentford. Right. This is
the thing, though. Leave him on Sunday. Old Trafford's the type of game Moyes would take him out and put Fornals in.
Absolutely.
You leave him in. Leave him.
Well, the thing is, if you can persist with Bowen through a period of bad form, and you wait until and you're patient with him and you wait for him to sort of come in, I don't know. I think I think maybe Moyes should persist with him. And my only concern with Benny is obviously his value is going to be creeping up now, and if there is an attacking player that I think Moyes probably would sell if he could get a price for him, do you think he would sell Benny?
No, funnily enough, I don't think he will because
No,
I think Moyes knows Ben Hammond bails him out now and again,
he
where
does. He does.
he needs a goal. Sometimes he sticks Ben Rama on, he comes up with it, or he changes the game, or he gets the assist or something. And what was it last season? 6 goals and 8 assists, or the other way
It's
around, eight
good
goals and 6 assists.
stats. Good stats from him.
Considering all in, I think that's decent numbers.
Yeah,
I actually think Moyes trusts Ben Rama more than we think because of his lack of game time and stuff. And I don't think Moyes would
yeah,
sell him because if you're selling Ben Rama, you're effectively selling your guy that's going to get you 8, 9 goals a season. I think that's risky. I think you better bloody make sure you buy someone that's going to give you 8, 9 goals a season. You saw what we've done with Vlasic. We spent
yeah.
25 million on him and packed him off to Italy. So no, I don't think he would sell him. I've often thought he would and that he should go, but not anymore.
No, that's it. In the chat as well, just be mindful that your comments are on the stream. So yeah, just be mindful about what words you use, please, if that's okay. Right, Bowen. What did you think of Bowen tonight, Gio?
Not great, was he?
No, not at all. Again, he was busy. I thought he was busy at times, but I don't know.
Maybe Souček was busy.
Oh no, no, I know.
Do you know what I mean? It's you can't. We can't hit Souček with a stick and when someone says, "Oh, but he worked hard," but I don't care about. I want more. Well, Bowen's an attacker. You can't. Souček almost justifies his place in the team because of what he gives to you defensively.
Yeah.
From a centre midfielder, I think that's okay to some extent.
Yeah.
But from a winger, I don't think that's acceptable. I think you've got to demand a bit more from your winger. Say, hang on, I know you're. I mean, second half, the thing that impressed me most about Bowen tonight was his defensive display. I thought in the second half, I thought he was putting the tackles in, I thought he was working really hard. Yeah. I really liked Zamora. I think he was fantastic in the Championship. He's not really had much of a chance under Gary O'Neill, but he's a left back I wouldn't mind West Ham monitoring, if you like, this season as a long-term replacement for Aaron Caswell. And when he came on, I thought they had a bit more of an attacking edge down that side, and Bowen did really well defensively.
Yeah.
But in possession, again, it's just rough, not really good enough.
No. I didn't think so. I thought he was. Yeah, it's disappointing. Like I say, his form did pick up. He was awful at the start of the season. His form picked up for a couple of games, but he seems to have dropped off again. I know he scored against Fulham, didn't he? The penalty, but even in that game, I don't think he was overly great. Oh God, here we go. Save that one for later. Yeah, I don't think he was particularly great. Again, I've forgotten what we scored Souček now. We didn't give him a 4, did we? I think a 5 is probably is 5 for Bowen. To be quite honest. Yes.
He's in trouble, by the way. With Cornet back, he's in trouble.
Do you think he is actually in trouble though?
No, I don't really, but he should be.
I know. He's back in training now, Cornet, is he?
Yeah, but the problem is with Cornet, they had this at Burnley. Cornet won't play unless he's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm not making this up. I promise you, at Burnley, if he had a knock, he didn't fancy it, he didn't want to play it, but he has to be when he's 100%, he'll play, and he's a great player and stuff. But they had a bit of an issue trying to almost get him to play with a knock. He just doesn't want to do it for whatever reason. So he's back in training anyway. So hopefully we'll see him Thursday night, get him some minutes under the belt, and then get him ready for Old Trafford on Sunday. And if he plays well on Thursday, questions have to be asked to the gaffer and say, how long are you gonna do this?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, like I say, do you think it is even though I don't really necessarily think his off the ball work was great today, was it? Because I do think sometimes that's why potentially Fornals and Bowen are played in those positions more for what they do off the ball than what they do on the ball. But I don't know. I didn't really feel like he had a great game in either respect today. But
no, I thought Bowen was good defensively. I do. Second half, the first half, he didn't really have to do much. I mean, Adam Smith didn't really do anything in the first half, I recall. So
yeah.
Fine enough. I think he has a bit of a difficult role sometimes still because the first half is probably a better example. When we're in possession, Benrahma hugs the touchline, so he stays out on the left-hand side, whereas Bowen's got a responsibility to get close to Scamacca, so he's got to get off that right-hand side and get close to him. And then he just ends up in a congested area of the pitch. And we're putting crosses in and stuff. I've seen Bowen score a couple of headers, but would you say that he's strong in the air? I don't know if I would.
No, not at all. No, but he's only 4 foot tall, isn't he? But he does run his arse off. He does.
Yeah.
And there is always a threat there, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I've not been. He's definitely not the Bowen of last season, is he? I don't think.
No.
Do you think he's got any hope in hell of going to the World Cup?
I think he might be included in the 55-man squad.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think
he's not doing enough, is he?
No, but you've got to consider the Southgate factor, haven't you? Like James Maddison, for example, should be one of the first names on that squad list, whether he is or not. And I don't think he will be. Same like Ben White should be one of the first centre backs on there, along with the Everton centre backs. Connor Cody will go, but James Tarkowski should also be going. Whether Southgate calls these players out, I don't think he will. I think the Nations League, the last round of Nations League games, is when Southgate should have been having a look at Ivan Toney, Ben White, Jared Bowen, and going off that. But because Bowen didn't play and he wasn't even on the bench in one of the games, that's a bad sign.
It is. It is. Yeah,
that's a bad sign.
It really is. Okay, we'll make this one the last one, Geo, because it's approaching an hour. So we're going to arrive on a bloke that I've seen your recent shows on Scamacca, and it appears you two also have a man crush on.
I've got a massive man crush
on Scamacca. I'm going to take that 5 off of him, even though he didn't play well today. Go on. What did you think of Scamacca? In fact, the last 2 games, I don't suppose you can really criticise him against Liverpool. He didn't get any service, did he? But I don't think he was great today. I've got to be honest.
Struggled. Struggled to influence the game. At times, you just get reminded of his class. The second half, he got that ball, didn't he? And he just played that crossfield ball to say Ben you think, there you go. There's
on the money.
Yeah, there's that little bit of quality he's got. And at times, he fends the defenders off quite well. He uses his body, uses his legs. What I will say, by the way, do you not think Lerma should have been sent off for that?
Oh, fucking that! How did they not look at that again?
Because he just got up. Because Scamacca just got up.
Because he's got legs made of titanium. That's why. But it was just. I think if his foot would have been planted, that was a potential leg breaker. Yeah. I think it was midway up his leg, wasn't it? It was bad.
When you saw it back, I was just like, how's that not even like being checked or anything?
Well, you know they did look at it. According to the stream that I had, they said they did look at it, but they dismissed it. It's
because he didn't make a meal of it. This is why you're encouraging diving and play acting. Had Scamacca rolled around, it would be like, we better take a real good look at this because he's injured. He's hurt, right? But because he just got up, it's an easy thing to say, yellow card, play on. Anyway.
I kind of agree with what Garino said there. Scamacca 6, no service, but held the line.
Yeah.
To a degree.
I'll give him a 6 as well, but it's almost like a low 6 for me. I wanted to see a bit more because when I look at Scamacca and I look at Declan Rice, I expect them to perform better than the rest of the players because I feel like they are better players.
We have high expectations of them, don't we?
I do have high expectations of them. Yeah. And there was a couple of moments tonight where I think Scamacca held onto the ball for too long, actually. I think he tried to sort of create himself a yard to probably do a bit of a Hollywood pass, and they were able to just sort of nip it away from his ankles and stuff. But you have to remember, he's still quite new to the Premier League. He's not really been our number one striker bar the last couple of games. And I think fair play to Moyes actually for sticking with him. I think after Anfield, again, I agree with you, didn't really get the service, but it was a quiet game. I think it would have been easy for Moyes to maybe put Antonio back in tonight.
It would have been,
Stuck with Scamacca. So I think this is Moyes saying, this is my striker, certainly for now. This is my number one striker.
Yeah.
Didn't have a bad game, but I don't think he had a good one either. He was all right.
Yeah, nice. But I think 6 is about right. We're gonna see much better from Scamacca. That's for sure. Yeah. But I think look, it's the same as everything else. I think you do need the team behind you. Any striker needs a team behind them playing well and creating chances. And I don't think we really had that. I think there was a few players, like I say, Benny had a great game. Cresswell was really solid. Rice was brilliant. It was all on that left-hand side, wasn't it?
Yeah. that was by far my favourite bit in the first half, especially. I thought them three were really good down there. I think
Yeah.
Bournemouth couldn't cope with us really. They ended up changing it, taking Fredericks off and moving Smith over there. But even that didn't really change anything. I think we were still quite dominant down that side, which is pleasing. There's
Yeah.
plenty of positives to take from tonight, Nick. We won.
Yeah, there are.
Plenty of players have played a good game, and the lowest score we've just handed out there is 5, which it's not a bad mark, really. It doesn't mean you've had a bad game or anything like that. So, if anything, the problem is we've got too many of them and not enough 7s. So there's too many all right tonight and not enough. He was excellent tonight. There was only really Rice and Ben Rama that we've sat here saying, really good game tonight.
Yeah.
Just 2 of them. And that shows how poor Bournemouth are. We only needed 2 players to have really good games in order to win quite comfortably in the end. And I think that's probably the frustration. If a few more just had a 7 out of 10 game like Bowen and Souček or whatever, it would have been a bit more comfortable tonight and a bit more entertaining. And I think that's the issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And just finally, David Moyes. What if you was going to give him a score out of 10 for tonight in terms of the way he set the team up and what he did? What would you give him tonight?
A 7.
I'd agree with that tonight. I think there were it wasn't brilliant football. I think there's things he could have done differently. But having said that, there's a lot of stuff that he did today, like you said, leaving Benny on, that was quite positive as well. I just don't like the way that we regressed. That's probably the one part of the game that I didn't like. And the football in general. Look, there were positives though. I don't want to be negative. Do you think? Can you see green shoots from that performance? Is it fair to say that? Can you see signs that we could build on that and take some momentum sort of into Old Trafford? Have you seen enough?
No, I think
no.
I haven't learned anything tonight. I think it's probably the most disappointing thing. Downs had a new position. It was a new position for Downs. I haven't come away thinking, oh, that's something we can use going forward.
Yeah.
If anything, it's quite the opposite. It's, well, he's done all right, but can we stop that, please? Can we have, hopefully Paquette will be back, but if he's not fit, can we maybe have Fanals in there? He can play Fanals in his best position and have a look at him doing that kind of thing. So if anything, I come away with more questions than answers, which is never a good thing. But listen, the gaffer, what he wants is different to what me and you want. Me and you want. We desire a bit more entertaining football. This, that.
Yeah.
He's not arsed about that. I want 3 points and a clean sheet. Happy days. I've got my 3 points.
He did say before the game, this is about the 3 points.
Yeah. It's job done as far as he's concerned, and he got a lot right today, Moyes. He didn't really get anything wrong.
No.
Like when we discussed the game, you could say the substitution swung it in Bournemouth's favour, but I find it difficult to blame him for that substitution, bringing Antonio on for Scamacca, who we've just spoke about, that was struggling to get into the game and stuff. So yeah, he's done fine. Moyes has done well tonight.
Is Trudge mad? VAR out. We wouldn't have won the game. Trudge.
VAR was our man of match.
Yeah, it was a man of the match.
Post man of match against Hull, and VAR man of match against Bournemouth.
And also, yes, it was Mike Dean. It was Mike Dean on the VAR tonight as well, which was it's the first time he's ever done us a favour, isn't it?
Yeah, he must have that Souček Red card from Craven Cottage ringing in his ears when he was looking over that monitor.
No, that's good. Okay, well look, we've wrapped that up. But yeah, in short, it's job done. We're up to 10th place. We're away from the dreaded bottom 3 for a few weeks anyway. On to the next one against Man United. Geo, thank you very much for joining me.
My pleasure. I've enjoyed that. Thank you.
No, it's good. It's good. It's ran for an. We normally do these in about 40 minutes, but we've been talking for over an hour. And thank you.
I know I can talk a lot. Don't worry.
No, it's brilliant. That is brilliant. And thank you everyone in the chat as well for sort of watching us. And like I said to you, it's very unlikely that anyone watching this channel isn't already a subscriber of Hamish Chat. But if you're not, get over there and subscribe as well. And also, you've got some nice Christmas jumpers, haven't you? I haven't got the graphic for it, but you've got some nice Christmas jumpers that are on available on pre-order as well. So
yeah, today's the last day you can pre-order it. You've got
was it
12
really?
hours. Yeah, you got because we can't afford them, Nick. We can't afford to buy loads in ourselves.
You couldn't buy them in
They're
bulk.
expensive.
Yeah.
So we've got to order exactly what everybody wants. So we get the cash in, and then we use that cash to buy the jumpers and send them all out. So they're quite nice. I'll wear one, and I hate Christmas.
Yeah, you grump. But anyway, look, thank you everyone. Thanks once again. And if you like the show, drop a like on it, please. And we'll see you again next time. Come on, you Irons.